Hear us okay?
Yep.
All right. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get to as many questions as we can in the time that we have with you. And to kick us off, we're going to start with Jennifer. Go ahead, Jenna, with your question for AJ.
Thanks. Hey, AJ, how you doing today?
Jenna, how you doing?
Not bad. I'm wondering at any point this year if you've been like, holy shit, what's going on? How am I having this season?
Pretty much every weekend it feels like. Quite honestly, I didn't know what to expect coming into this year. I mean, with what we had done in the limited schedule over the last couple of years, I felt like we could be pretty good. But college racing itself has been growing as well. So, I mean, we had really going into this year, college racing had won one race besides a road course and a super speedway. And that was winning at Atlanta last year. So I knew we had room to grow at each type of racetrack, and we continually kept working on it and had good and bad weekends when it comes to speed in the race car. But yeah, I mean, between really since the Olympic break ended, between winning Indy and Michigan and now winning at Bristol, like it's and winning the regular season championship, like I'm just trying to enjoy it all. I mean, and anybody, all of you that have covered me and in my career, I mean, we've seen when I can get down and how low a point that is. So, Jenna, I'm loving every minute of it. And, I really try to celebrate and be happy about all these great moments. I know the saying, don't let the highs get too high and the lows get too low, but I've kind of thrown that out the window because I've experienced the lows and I love what's happening right now. So all these great things that have happened, I'm going to enjoy them.
What does it mean to you to be, competing for a championship at this stage of your career?
It's unexpected. After 2018, I didn't know if I'd ever be running anything full time ever again. So to be at this point now and having an opportunity to go contend for an Xfinity championship, winning the regular season, which to me is a big deal, knowing that, that's over a 26 race period of trying to be the best team and best driver out there. So scoring the most points, that's a huge deal for us and something that, at college racing and myself, we can say, hey, that's big on our resume. So I love being a part of it. And I think I've tried to make it clear anytime I do interviews, like how much I love Matt Collig, Chris Rice, and all the men and women here. So, I know the way this championship works. You have to be consistent each stage and try to get to Phoenix. And at the end of the day, these championships are now just a one-off and you got to be spot on that day. But if that doesn't happen, it doesn't take away from the great season that we've had.
Thanks, AJ. Have fun.
Thank you, Jenna.
All right. Our next question is going to come from Bob Pockris. Go ahead, Bob.
AJ, a lot of talk about how your experience helps you, but I'm wondering, do you have any sort of championship hunt experience like late in the season? Like 2006 maybe, and do you take anything from back then to now?
Yeah, good question, Bob. It was 2006, and that was a little bit even different then because the second half of that season, I would obviously had switched teams to go to Forsyth, and I was always in a chasing Sebastian Bourdais down. Like I had started such a points deficit from beginning of the year to when I switched teams that it was like the championship seemed a little bit out of reach the whole time because I was always trying to catch and we'd won a lot of races. So we were starting to make up that gap, but yeah, nothing obviously NASCAR on the side of it. So, I can't take anything from that championship run. All I can look at it is that I got nothing to lose, right, Bob? It's one of those things that it's late in my career. I didn't expect this. And as we saw coming to the checkered at Bristol, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, put my body on the line, risk making a pass, whatever it has to do to go win this championship because I got nothing to lose. I'm loving this. And of course, I hope with college racing over the next couple of years, we have more opportunities to go out there and win and fight for championships, but you never know. So I'm going to leave it all out there and run every lap like it's my last and do everything that I have to do to go out there and try to win this championship for myself and for college racing.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Alex Andrea. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey AJ, I know that next season it's announced that you're going to return to Xfinity full time, but I'm curious if, like, with the success that you've had in both Cup and Xfinity this year, was there any discussion about, like, hey, why not run a full-time Cup season next year?
Yeah, Alex. I mean, that was more of a Matt Collick, Chris Rice discussion, what they wanted to do with the second car. I think it's fantastic that Justin is going full-time Cup racing next year. He deserves it. He's done so much to make this race team better, and I think he's going to be fantastic when he gets to the Cup Series. So I'm really happy for him. On my end of it, I mean, it's not a lie. I literally told him, whatever you want me to do. Like, I mean, if they wanted to start a truck team and go full-time truck racing, and that's what they wanted me to do, I said, I'm happy doing whatever you want me to do. And I'm loving every second of it, whether it's running the Cup races or running full-time in Xfinity. And, I was really on whatever page that they wanted me to be on. And that's true. So at this stage of my life, like, I'm having a lot of fun, and like I have all the confidence in the world for Matt Collick and Chris Rice of making the right decisions for this organization. And, let's be honest, it's their organization. So if they wanted me to go full-time Cup racing, I would have done it. And if not, full-time Xfinity, I'm loving doing this. So, like, I have not really had any discussions with them of, like, this is what I want to do. Cause it's true. I'm doing whatever they want me to do because I just love being a part of this organization.
Then, I mean, is there something about the type of racing in the Xfinity Series 2 that you like? Or, I mean, some of the Cup drivers were talking on Saturday just about how in Xfinity you're able to be a little bit more aggressive with the equipment, and the cars are, sort of more forgiving and durable in the accidents. Do you feel like that's accurate?
Well, I mean, I haven't really driven the 1.5 mile and the 2 mile aero package for Cup. I ran the All-Star race in 2018 when it was sort of, this is the package that they were going to. I think probably back in that All-Star race, it was even less horsepower than what they run now. It was okay. Like, it was fun racing the way it was. But these Xfinity cars, they are so enjoyable to drive. I mean, they slide around. They don't have a lot of downforce in them. They have a good amount of horsepower. So, yeah, no matter whether we're racing at Martinsville, we're racing in Michigan, like, these cars are a handful to drive. And it makes it a lot of fun. So I can't really speak on what the Cup aero package feels like on those types of racetracks. The road courses, the Cup cars are a lot of fun. I enjoy that. They got a lot of horsepower and they slide around. But these Xfinity cars every weekend, yeah, it's a handful. And it's great racing. So that's part of the reason why I enjoy this series so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
You got it right. AJ, how are you?
I'm good, Dustin. How you doing, man?
Good. Hey, so this year there's a lot of talk in the Cup Series. Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, their regular season championship battle, and it comes down to the wire. Same with you and Cindric. So I'm curious, how did that kind of better the 16 team?
Well, I mean, the 22, and I tried to make that comment after the race. The 22 as a team with Team Penske, they make colored racing a ton better, because if it wasn't for them in the series and there's a lot of great teams. So when I say this, I'm not taking away from anybody else, but they're the champions for a reason. They've been here a long time and won a lot of championships. So they're the ultimate goal. I mean, they have the targets on the back, and we have to go out there and be better. Last year, just in the limited races I ran, it was like, okay, certain races, especially on the road courses, we were competitive with them and we beat them at a few of them. But you could see how great they were and how fast they were every weekend as a whole. So we've worked hard to try to get there and be there consistently, not just at certain racetracks, but every type of racetrack. And then with that said, Austin Cindric, he's the champ. And he's made me so much better of trying to figure out each weekend, okay, I got to up my game. I got to figure out how to be better at this type of racetrack, how to be better at this type of racetrack. And so as a whole, between Austin and Team Penske, they make us a ton better here. So, really the way the year started, we were kind of at a points deficit after about race 4, race 5. It seemed like we were about 70 points back to 100 points back through the summer months. and they were doing a good job of not having really any bad races. And we had shot ourselves in the foot a couple of times and lost some points, but we basically just bounced back and forth every weekend and weren't gaining a lot of points, weren't losing a lot of points. Well, they finally had a couple of bad races, which allowed us back in the points, and we took advantage of it. And then it was just a battle going into Bristol. So it was really cool to be able to win the regular season championship. I mean, that's, as I said, something that we can have in our resume that's pretty special. The ultimate goal is to win the overall championship, but no matter what, you can't take the regular season championship away from us. And you know, that will always be special.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you.
All right. Our next question is going to come from Chris Estrada. Go ahead, Chris.
AJ, thanks for joining us. Just going back to the regular season championship battle, it looked set to go to Austin Cindric, but then you were able to make up all that ground to win the championship. With that in mind, do you and your team believe that you have gained a mental edge over Cindric and the 22 team heading into the postseason?
Yeah, Chris. I mean, I don't ever look at it that way because I never know what they're thinking, right? You can't. I don't know what Austin feels and what Team Penske feels. I can tell you that, you know, I'm confident in our group that we show that even on a day like Bristol where we didn't have the car to win, we had by the end, we fought hard. We had a top 5 car. We're going to finish 4th on outright speed and finish 4th in that race. But, you know, I think people see that if I get an opportunity on a restart, and I've tried to show it all year, but I don't care. I'm going to put my body on the line. I'm going to do what it takes to try to go out there. And I knew coming to the checkered, I was going to get wrecked. And I knew it was going to hurt when I hit the fence and probably get hit by other cars, but I didn't care. I wanted that championship and I was going to do what it takes. So I don't know if that's a mental edge because I don't know what Team Penske feels and how they're thinking over there, but it definitely shows everybody in the series that even on a day that maybe we don't win, if you give us a glimmer of hope, we're going to take that shot at it and we can make it happen. And that's how we're going to be throughout the course of these playoffs. I mean, I'm going to run every lap like it's my last one. You never know. So I'll do what it takes to go out there and win these races and try to win this championship.
Thanks, AJ. Good luck.
You man.
All right. Our next question is going to come from Daniel McFadden. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hey AJ, so have you taken the sword by your bar yet?
Yeah. Yes, Daniel. Actually, I did take the sword by Boatyard Eats there on Saturday night. We had a good time with it. So it definitely got some looks from some people as they were walking by, and I had a real sword in my hand, just having a good time. So yeah, that made its rounds for sure at the bar.
Okay. So can you like share how has colleague racing impacted you or improved you as a person, as a driver over these last few years? Like how are you different now than the AJ Allmendinger that arrived at colleague racing a few years ago?
Yeah, Daniel. I mean, it was it was no secret. I was kind of, burnt out at the end of 2018. Just it's I mean, the Cup Series is tough when it's going well, let alone when you're always trying to fight hard to get better. And, at the 47, I mean, it's a small team and that's what we were always trying to do. And we had some great moments together and we had some ups and downs and, but yeah, it was tough. So, it really started with Chris Rice and sitting me down when I got to college racing and saying, yeah, we'd never, and I told you that when we talked, like we'd never met before. Like I knew what Chris looked like, but that was about as far as it went. And he sat me down right away and said, man, I don't want you to stress yourself out here. Like, I want you to make us better and don't lose that edge that you ever have, that intensity, but it's different here. Like I've seen it. I've seen how you are, good and bad. So that's the way they've changed me in the sense, like my intensity levels we've seen and you hear on the radio or even some of my interviews, that's never going to change. Like when I'm in the race car, it's all about winning. But I think what's a bigger deal is once we leave the racetrack, it's gone. Or even after a race, they let me be frustrated. And then finally it's like Matt and Chris are like, okay, we're done. Like it's let it go. Like, let's go have a good time, whether that's we're going to dinner or we're going to go play golf or whatever it may be. So I think they've really taught me and at least allowed me to be me, but also I incorporate the fact that, okay, like I live by those rules too. Like I let it go and we don't talk about it and we go have fun after that. And it's done. What good or bad during that weekend, it's done and we move forward. And that's something that has really helped me over these couple of years.
All right. Now, have you pre-ordered your race win diecast yet from Bristol?
I saw a lot of people like requesting that it actually looks like the car of how it stopped into turn one. So
Yeah, the remains. It's the remains of the
yeah,
car.
I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like. Now, I will say Chris Rice did offer to drop the chassis off in my driveway because that was all that was about left of the car. So he offered just to lay it in my driveway and leave it there and let me figure out what to do with it. I told him I was good. I didn't need to do that.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, AJ, thank you so much for your time. Unfortunately, we have to let you go before we get to everyone's question, but thank you again for spending some time with us today.
I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for everything that you do. It makes a huge difference. So thank you so much.